Okay, Peter, so today I just wanted to look at something that everybody knows about, but I think is more of a seismic shift in British boxing, and that's the relationship between Matchroom and DAZN. Now, I know things have been floating around. We know that Matchroom moved exclusively to DAZN, and that's a major thing, a major shift that they announced in early June. And then a few days ago, they announced their commentating team for Matchroom Media, where they're going to go forward with these shows on DAZN. And I think all of these things need to be taken in and looked at in a bit more depth, because I think we're going to see a big, like I say, a seismic shift in boxing, and it's all going to launch with the Matchroom Fight Camp, which starts on the 31st of July. So that's the first shows they're going to deliver. And it's weird with the Matchroom Fight Camp coming around, because it feels to me a bit like Wimbledon coming around or Henley coming around. It's only been going for 1 year, but it was a big breakthrough last year. Obviously, bringing boxing back under the COVID conditions, and it was a huge success. And now it looks like it's going to be a regular thing. This year, you can buy tickets. I'm told the tickets are £750 a pop, so there will be some crowds there. But obviously it's still going to be quite exclusive. But so looking back and tracing this right back, so obviously we know about 2009. Eddie Hearn came in and said, right, I want to get into boxing, and he revived Eddie Harrison's career, and he brought us the prize fighter format. So innovation right from the start, to get new viewers in and get people looking at boxing slightly differently, and that's always been the name of his game, really. And then he developed into 2012. They had an exclusive relationship with Sky. He leveraged Matchroom's other offerings for Sky to develop an exclusive relationship with Sky, much to the chagrin of all the other promoters, particularly Frank Warren, who was prompted to go off and start Box Nation, and then start working with BT. And so this exclusive relationship between Matchroom and Sky has lasted for 9 years and has been very, very successful. And they've been in and out of each other's pockets. So you've got to ask, in a way, why has Eddie decided to bin the whole thing? And really, hopefully that's going to be good for boxing, because it's opened up Sky to working with other promoters as well. So they've named 3 other promoters they're going to work with. But going forward, Eddie has now decided to get into bed with DAZN completely. He's been working with DAZN in other areas, notably the US, and other areas in Europe. But the really interesting thing is, why is he doing that? And I think, what he said is basically he wants to get a whole global platform, an integrated global platform. So that instead of, whereas now he works with maybe 50 broadcasters, so he develops a show, he has a narrative, he has a fight going on, and then he tries to sell that to all these other broadcasters, and they maybe don't run with the same narrative. He can now do that globally. With that single global platform, we can run everything, across multiple time zones, multiple countries. So that's really interesting. Also, I think it's part of his progression. He sees it very much as a cross-platform, and we'll talk about it in a minute when he comes to his presenting team. He sees it very much as a cross-platform thing. There's all these developments in boxing, which I think he's paying a lot more attention to. I mean, look at what Logan Paul, and Floyd Mayweather did with their followings on YouTube, and the various YouTubers dipping their toe into boxing. And you'll see that in the presenting team, the stellar presenting team on Matchroom Media that he's just announced. But one of the big announcements was Maya Jama. Now, a lot of boxing fans may not have heard of her, but she's got 2.2 million followers on Instagram. So they've gone for the classic people like Mike Costello from the BBC, which is a real big, poach for Matchroom. But also, you've got the new and the old. You've got the male and the female. You've got the old heads and the people that really appeal to boxing. Boxing heads like Darren Barker and Tony Bellew and Andy Lee. And you've got those people like Mike Costello giving you the sort of, very grown-up commentary. Then you've got Maya Jama and Laura Woods, sports journalist, presenter of the year, currently working at Sky, been poached to go over the commentating team for Matchroom Media. So, they're really going at this big. And also, Eddie has said that this is an opportunity for the Matchroom Media arm to grow in conjunction with DAZN, providing a lot more of the content for DAZN. So, he's not just going to provide the fights, he's going to provide the content, he's going to provide the commentary team, he's going to provide the sort of backroom media, he's going to provide all the content leading up to the fights, the tactical shows, the sort of the gloves are off type stuff. So, it's a real development in the way that boxing is presented by a promoter. I feel. So it's going to kick off on the 31st of July, I say, with Fight Camp. So leading that up, we've got 31st of July, then we've got the 7th of August, then we've got the 14th of August. So the usual format of 3 consecutive weekends. The first one on the 31st is led off by Ben v Granados. Then you got on the second one on the 7th, Galahad v Dickens. And interestingly enough, Ebony Bridges on that show. I know we've talked to Ebony a lot, so that's going to be her comeback after that Shannon Courtney fight. And then on the 14th, you got Buatsi v Bolotniks, which I think is quite a dangerous fight for Buatsi. Bolotniks is coming off a real sort of run there, but that's going to be interesting, and we'll review that closer to the time. But that really kicks off the offering on DAZN, and like I say, they've got that amazing commentary team and that integrated, that real sort of, it's going to be a new way of delivering content. Obviously, it goes to your phone. And the idea is that they're going to get through on all the social media platforms. There's going to be loads of content flying out. It's just going to be a really interesting development. Interestingly enough, Joshua and White are not on this exclusive 5-year deal with DAZN. They are going to be negotiated separately, one fight at a time. So, he isn't really sort of completely all in with DAZN, but, it is a very interesting development, I think. And I think, it kind of chimes in with Matchroom's mindset. In my mind, I think what Eddie is saying is, DAZN want to be global. They want to be global. They want to be the go-to place for sport. And, we want to be global. We want to be the go-to place for boxing. So I think it's a very interesting development. Like I say, in a way, Eddie's given up a lot to take this gamble. And I think it's in keeping with his innovation and with the way that he approaches his business. And, I think it's going to be a very interesting development for British fight fans. I think we're getting a lot for our money at the moment. It's a great time. I know DAZN's price point is only $1.99 a month for all this, and that's probably going to change. But at the moment, it's an incredible deal. And I just think it's going to be interesting to see how Matchroom can develop this global offering, how they can develop across this single platform, how it's going to push out boxing. Obviously, what they've got to do is push boxing out, not to the hardcore fans, which you kind of already got, but, develop it much further, go along this social media line, pull in new fans. And I think that's the really interesting development, and that's, we'll see how that goes and how we're going to bring the new generation into boxing. So I think it's really interesting times. It's a seismic shift in the way boxing is presented, packaged and given out to people. And I just think it's flying slightly under the radar. So Fight Camp coming up, starts on the 31st of July. Really interesting new team at Matchroom, delivering it in a different way. And I think it's going to be an exciting time for boxing. So I'm looking forward to it, Peter.